What's up, everybody? It's Mr. Harris once again coming at you with some more math jewels. Today we're going to be talking about the rules of exponents. Now there are several rules of exponents, but we're going to stick to the basic rules that students typically use in middle school and high school mathematics. So let's go ahead and get right into it. There's about 5 basic rules that we use when working with exponents. So the first rule we're going to use is the product rule. And what the product rule says is that if I have the same base, but I have 2 different exponents, then I can actually use that same base and I'll add those 2 exponents. So if I have some number m and some number n as my exponents, but they both have the same base, I can simply keep that base and add the exponents. So for example, if I have x to the 4th power times x to the 7th power, then what I have is x to the 4 plus 7th power, okay? Which if we add 4 plus 7, we will get 11. So if we have the same base but different exponents and we're multiplying those 2 terms together, we can keep that base and simply add the exponents to simplify that. So that's the product rule. The next rule that we're going to talk about is the quotient rule. And quotient rule is going to deal with division. So if I have x to the m power divided by x to the n power, then that's going to give me x to the m minus n power. So once again, if I have x to some power divided by x to another power, I simply subtract those exponents. So in this example, I can simply say, let's say if I have, let's erase this for a second. If I have x to the 12th power divided by x to the 5th power, then that gives me x to the 12 minus 5 power. And 12 minus 5 is going to give me 7. So I would simplify that by simply saying x to the 7th power. So up above we have the product rule, and then we have the quotient rule. The next rule that we'll talk about is the power rule. So the power rule tells us that if I have some exponent or some base taken to an exponent, and then that term is taken to another exponent, then I'm simply going to have x to the m times n power. Okay, so if I have a power taken to another power, then I simply multiply those 2 exponents. So for example, if I have x to the 3rd power, and that is taken to the 2nd power, then what I actually have is x to the 3 times 2 power. And if I multiply 3 times 2, that will give me x to the 6th power. Okay, so that is the power rule. The next 2 basic rules are simply going to be probably the simplest of the exponent rules. So we have the negative exponent rule. So if I have x taken to the negative m power, then I simply can rewrite that as a positive exponent by making it a fraction. So I simply take 1 over x to the m power. So no matter what that negative exponent is, if I make it a fraction, put a 1 in the numerator, I can rewrite that term using positive exponents. So for example, if I have x to the negative 9th power, then typically the directions would say rewrite using positive exponents. Then I can simply just say 1 over x to the 9th power. Okay? So that's the negative exponent rule. And last but not least, it's probably the simplest rule, and this is the 0 rule. So anything to the 0 power equals 1. Doesn't matter what that number is. If I take a number to the 0 power, it's going to simplify to 1. So those are our basic rules of exponents. Hopefully someone will get some jewels out of this video here.